Okay, so what we're going to do is, because we got cut off with internet connectivity issues because of them, let's just duplicate what you were doing that was wrong. Now it might be hard to go back. Although it was kind of a cool rhythm, what you were playing. We're playing the 25th Rudiment because, as I had mentioned, you were having problems last week with the compound stroke number 1, which is comprised of the 25th Rudiment. It's the previous stroke in Murray's Spivack library, right? And so, because the compound stroke has the 25th Rudiment in it, we went back to simply going over the 25th Rudiment. You came in playing it incorrectly with regards to the rhythm, and you were crushing what should be just an appoggiatura that is it's really a drag. Isn't that just a drag? So can you duplicate what you were doing? I took issue.
I'll see.
Let's see if you can duplicate it for our friends at home. No, you can't play it wrong. Do you remember what you're doing? It's a cool rhythm. Remember, it was though you were playing it open. But what you were doing, which then this is wrong too, right? Because this isn't. Don't play for a second. This is what we want. But you're playing. In fact, what you were doing was. And then, so I helped you understand that the rhythm is actually, let's see, 1 and a 2 and a 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 1 and a 1 and 1 and a 2 and a 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 1. It's not 1 and a 2 and it doesn't land on the end. 1 and a 2 and let's see. It's hard to play it back incorrectly or differently. So you were going 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1, and it's really, and it doesn't land on the and a 1 and a 2. It lands on 1 and a 2 and 1 and a 2 and 1 and a 2. It's a 16th note later. You were playing at a 16th note ahead. And as soon as you fix that, aside from your hands and whatever they're doing, it immediately got better. Because then now you're playing by feel. You're listening to the music that should represent the note or notes indicated in writing. We're learning to play the written music. So go ahead. Now go ahead and play it correctly. We're at 60. Okay, just for fun, it's better. Let's slow it down so that we have time to count it. It'll make it easier to count. Just to really lock this in. Okay, slow it down to 52. Let's do it. Hold on there. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1. Go ahead and slow it down to 40. It might not rebound anymore, but it's okay. We'll figure out a way to play it. Should be, of course, we can play it at 40. How we're going to play it at 40 when we're involving rebounds that occur when we're at the speed of 60 beats per minute? We'll see. Okay, first you started off the other way. Can you fix it? But now I want you to count it and lock it in. So it's 1 and a 2 and a 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 1, a 1, a 1 and a 2. Go ahead for it. Go ahead. Go for it.
A 1, and that's right. A 1, and a 1 and
No. A 1 and a 2. Don't turn the metronome off. Don't do it. one and a two and a 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 one. Count it that way.
One and a two and a 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 one and a two.
Now for me, better. Watch. For me, if I was going to do that, one and a two and one, I make I don't say the more quietly. I would want to be able to count it so that the note that I'm having problems with, or the notes I'm having problems with regards to where they land, I might want to emphasize that note vocally. One and a two and one, right? It shouldn't be quieter than everything. One and a two and one and a two and it's the that you need to catch. So you say it.
Okay.
No metronome, no metronome.
A one and a two and a one and a two and a one.
Wait. Let me hit you, okay? Because you said you do some singing. So this is kind of like, you know, you're in the studio and the producer says, "Now we're going to change the background vocals. We're going to say it a little. It's not one and a two and a one and a two." Dick hated. That's why Dick wrote everything with the metronome equaling, I don't know, a quarter note tied to a 32nd note. And then you had to figure out, so you couldn't always land on the one. So it's, first of all, for counting, it's one and a two and a one and a two. That's why he didn't say one E and a two E, because it sounds different. He got rid of the E and replaced it with one and a two and a one. Now, if I'm looking to catch a particular note, I might emphasize that. One and a two and one and a two and one and, but I'm not going one and a two and a. Be mindful of that. That's the typical drummer. Well, that's the pitfall that is so common. You know, we're always polarizing one. Dick would say, not for the band so that they know where one is, so we know where one is. As drummers, it shouldn't be like that. Go for it. Try it again.
A one and a two and 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 a one and a two.
Okay, now which is better, but you're saying, and it makes sense because the accent's on too, you're saying that more loudly. I want to hear you say, just do this, just count with me. I know this might seem as though it has nothing to do with the study of snare drum technique, but it does. One and a two and one and a two and one. Go ahead and say that.
One and a two and a one and a two and a one.
No, one and a two and
One and a two and
Yeah, one and a two and one and a two and.
One and a two and one and a two and
Now go ahead and play it. Speaking that way. We're singing that way, almost like you're singing.
One and a one and a two 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 and all one and a two and all one and a two.
That's different, isn't it? Immediately, that, and it took you a minute. Because for you and most drummers, including me, right, the stuff that I've worked on, first of all, just being aware of it, right, is that we're disconnected in terms of our ability to want to recognize a particular note in a grouping of notes, or notes in a particular grouping of notes. And if they're not accented, then we can't say it louder. Our body, why? Why is it that when we're vocalizing and counting out loud, why is it that we can only say something or count more loudly when we're playing an accent? That was interesting, wasn't it? Do it the other way. See if you can count out loud with the unaccented note, set it a little louder because that's the note we're looking for. It's about timing.
One and a two and a 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 one and a two and I want it. I want it. And a two and a one and a two.
I want to end it. I want it. You don't say the one loudly. Don't say the one as loud as the Wanna end it and I wanna end it. Don't bang up the one.
I want it and a two and oh, two and oh.
There you go. Right. You know, immediately. You see, if you were on a gig, immediately it made you more funky. You don't have to say one. You don't have to bang on the one. Now, and if it was going in the other direction, the right hand would be playing the end. But now you're feeling that anticipation without banging on the one. And immediately it makes you more funky, right? You immediately hear that if you were playing like a backbeat tune with some syncopation, that would help. Okay, much better. Now let's take a quick look at the compound stroke. Let's see if you can play that. Put the metronome on. I think I got you up to 52. So go ahead and put the metronome on at 52. And I'm not going to spend too much more time. We'll go back to it, but I want to keep moving. I know what you're doing. Okay, now we have another issue. Okay, this stuff is so cool, you know, because through one stroke we can learn so much about how it is we're playing. Because one stroke might include a bunch of different strokes, right? Combination of different stickings and strokes combined. Okay, so I think this is what you do. First of all, the timing is better. Timing's good, right? 1 and a 2 and a 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 1 and a 2. So this little throw, right? That's where we get, there's a little squeeze and release going on, right? You see, I'm more closed when I land. And then, see, I get a release and a squeeze. And so there is that sense of relaxation. I think that's what I was showing you when we got cut off last time. So I'll hit you to it, right? Because if we're playing the 25th Rudiment, you see. This is what's happening. It's an up to a down. Don't play for just a sec. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Always squeeze, 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 release, 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 right? Or now, see, I'm making this motion, but now I'm playing 2 up and 2 down with a little accent. But I'm still making a little squeeze. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, 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 release, release. There is an open to a close. You're loose going up, Murray would say, and you're tight coming down. Now that confused me because that can create exaggeration. Loose going up, so you open up your hand, and then you're going to close, and it's not. It's from the wrist, and I just want you to recognize it. Right? Don't you feel a little squeeze?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you land? Okay? There you go. Nice and easy, isn't it? I'll make a note on the way up. Yeah, you don't need too much of this. The whole thing has a proportion. Mostly you want to feel, for what we're doing right now, you're a little more loose going up and a little more tight coming down. Okay, don't overdo this. Yeah, once you get to here, we're just going to, see, loose, tight, loose, tight, loose. Be careful with that. Make that motion, put that in your mind. Okay, okay, so there's that to consider, right? When we're playing the compound stroke. Now, here's what I want to talk to you about at this point. I think what you're doing is really helpful to have you on a bigger screen. Thank you, Richard Martinez. You said, get your bigger screen. It's like, sometimes it takes me a little while, but I get there, you know? I think what you're doing when you play, now we have a group of singles, right? We have a 25th rudiment, a 25th rudiment, and then we have a drag, but they're singles. See? And I think here's what you're doing for your singles. See, my sticks are just lying in my hand, right? There is a fulcrum up front, okay, but this is confusing too. But what I'm thinking right now, to help undo what you're doing, I think this is the best approach, is the sticks are just lying in my hand. How tight do you need to be to do this? And I feel the energy running right to the middle finger. I still have a 3-finger grip, but I really relax my hand. Maintain the guide, fulcrum, 3-finger grip, narrow fulcrum, somewhere in between those 3 fingers is a fulcrum. Right. Depending on where we want to imagine it, we are determined to feel it. Okay, but here's what you're doing. I believe that's your singles. I'll show you. It'll spoil the whole thing. You see, this isn't a finger thing. This might get in the way. Let's see. But what? Here are your singles. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. So now you're conjoining a wrist turn and fingers. We can play with fingers, but that's not what we're doing. We're turning our wrists. We're not going like this. This is it's hard to do. But I think it's hard to do. Maybe there are techniques to do. This is nothing to do. You don't conjoin a wrist turn and fingers like that. So you're doing this. Squeeze, squeeze while you're turning your wrists. Now it's interesting, if we do use our fingers, it'll look like a wrist turn if we open our hand purposefully and then close. The wrist follows the fingers. It looks like a wrist turn. That's not what you're doing. I don't believe. You're actually turning your wrist and using your fingers. So looks like we need to work on singles. When we get to this part, it's just laying in my hand, and how tight do you need to be? That's a Richard Martinez thing. How tight do you need to be? It's also a Bruce Becker thing, isn't it? Didn't he talk about that? How tight do you really need to hold the stick? Well, here's a good example of where you don't need to be really, really tight. Now we are. It seems like it's counterintuitive because we're going in the right. We're going open, close, loose, tight, right? And then we're going to go. Say, I'm not feeling this open and close and the squeeze, the release and the squeeze, and you only squeeze what you release, all that stuff, which is true and a big part of the technique. I'm not feeling that when I play singles. I'm not going open, close. Oh, I am going open, close. But when I go to singles, open, I don't go open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. I just hold the stick and turn my wrist. Try that. Yeah. Just hold the stick and turn your wrist. Stop squeezing with your fingers. I kind of feel the energy running back every time it goes back. It's not going forward. I'm squeezing. It's just turning my wrist. So it would look like this. Just do this with me. Look how open I am. Look how open I am. There is a little kickback from the surface. I'm not opposed to there's some kind of feeling because of the bounce and the force being supplied by the surface, that there's a little bit of a bouncy ball thing going on, maybe here. I know a lot of people have objections to that. See how nice and open I am? How loose can you be? Look, 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 look. How much, what do you need? You're just gonna stick laying in the hand and you turn your wrist. And you feel a little reaction from the surface and you just turn your wrist. And it feels like there's kind of, I know what they mean when it doesn't feel like you're just sending it down. There is a turn that in the other direction as well. So that if there was no pad, it would look like this. You can hear it bouncing on my palm too, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Will yours do that? Go ahead and do that.
Yeah, it is.
There you go. See, that's better. Nice and relaxed. You don't have to go real hard down, real hard up. You see? That's it. It's like Dick Wilson would say, it's like a ball on a string. You know, the paddle? Just came to mind. It's a metaphor. It didn't really work for me, but again, I'll put that on the surface. Yeah, better. Yeah. No, fast. Go fast. Go even faster. Don't get tight. Just let it lay there and turn your wrist. Yeah. Right. So now, if you were to try to squeeze time for that, try squeezing when you do that every time.
I can't.
How hard that is? That's what you're doing when it's slow. So as you go to speed up, you can't speed up because you're doing this.
Yeah.
You're not there you go. There. Okay, you're done. That's all you need. That's like a big deal. Okay. Okay. So now let's hear the stroke. Put it back on at 52. No squeezing on the singles with the back fingers. Okay, basic idea, right? So here's what we're thinking about. We're thinking about the timing of the appoggiatura, which is essentially what is a drag, right? They're the grace notes, and we want the timing correct. A one-a and a two-a and a one-a and then we want to feel a little bit of some looseness, and then squeeze or loose tight. This helps us stop low, doesn't it? So the hand is close by the time you get to the surface. Okay, so we're thinking of that. And then we're thinking of not squeezing for the singles. So so let's put the metronome on. Okay, so let's keep moving. Let's put the metronome on at 52. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to turn 16th notes. Okay, we're going to play. We're going to play a very simple little exercise. Keep the metronome on. Okay. We're playing quarter notes. See, there it is, just turning. Feel it come to my palm. Just do this in the air with me. Just do it in the air. Copy me. My hand is out. You're here, and I'm here. Or whatever. I think it's just. Yeah. That's like yes, and I can see what's happening. No, something's not quite right. See how it moves in my hand? But my fingers are kind of glued to the stick. See how it moves? Right here. Just do this for fun. Just kind of. Now, just let the stick fall back a little bit. Do you feel the weight of it? You feel it in your fingers? Right? And now, without pulling your fingers, just come back to this position. Yeah. All I'm doing is turning my wrist, and I'm not pulling with my fingers when I come back. They close. Yeah, they seem to open and close seemingly almost by themselves. I'm making this up as I go along. I'm trying to help you get this feeling because you're doing something weird with your fingers. Yeah, so yeah, just come to the side like this for me. Just give me this. No, this way so I can see the inside of your hand. Okay. So it's just right now for remedial sake. It's resting on my palm. As soon as I tip back. Not with your arm, the wrist. Again, come here. Straight up. Perpendicular to the floor. And then you're just going to go back. Turn back. Yeah, and then come back like this. Feel the weight of that stick here. You can really feel the weight of it here. Come back more. All the way back doesn't meridian. No, you're just opening your fingers. You didn't turn your wrist to do that. That's what I mean. Watch. You're here. I come back. I feel the stick counterbalance as the stick wants to fall behind me. I can feel the butt end move away from my palm and pull against my fingers or push against my finger. Leverage against my finger. Now, if I turn my wrist more on your wrist, turn your wrist all the way that it'll hurt. Come on, you can get it back here. Feel that stick. Doesn't Murray go there on his throw? Doesn't he do a throw like that? Oh my God, it comes all the way to here. See, I just want you to see the fingers do react. They're just, and then I get this, listen. And I'm not pulling at all. I'm just holding the stick and turning my wrist. I'm not going like this. There's fingers. And here's wrist.
Yes.
That's a little better. Okay, go ahead. And when you play just one note, I feel as I get to the top, I can feel a slight change of pressure in the butt end relative to the palm. No, I'm just turning what we were doing here, this high. So don't wait at the top, or you won't lose that feeling. You'll lose this. Okay, put the hands together. Quarter notes in each hand. One turn per click. Don't turn too high. Don't turn too high. Nice and easy. See, did the fingers move in the left when you turn? I don't think the fingers, yeah. See, the fingers should react a little bit and move. The stick moves them. You don't do it though. Yeah, you don't touch the stick.
I feel the butt end coming away from the palm.
Just a little, right at the top. Feel that? Yeah, better. You're more open. Okay, now you're going to play eighth notes. Think. Quarter note triplets. One and two, and you see it's still coming away. Just doing this. Just literally, let's watch. The stick is moving my hand a little, not clutching it. Out loud. One and two and we're quarter note.
And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 and 1 and
What we want to do is not lose the sensation that we were feeling at the slower speed. And what happened was it got louder. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and see, nothing's changed. It goes 1. Don't play. Just stay with me. Just 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. See, it's the same. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and now it looks like this. See, it's the same. Now, but I'm just turning faster. Now when I go to eighth notes, it's going to go 1 and 2 and faster. Look, nothing changed. 3 and 4 and 1. Now I'm going to play eighth note triplets. Watch my right hand. 1 and 2 and I hope you can see it. So it's 1. Here, I'll do it like this. 1 and you can hear it too, can't you? Just a little, barely. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, it's moving away that much from my palm. 1, 2, ever so slightly. Then it's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and now I'm going to speed it. See, same motion. 4 and 2. Now it's faster. Look, it's the same. It's coming away the same. It's just faster. No, wait a minute. 1 and 2. Now we're going to do triplets. 1 and 2 and 3 and look, it's just coming away the same. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it doesn't really change, see? Okay, so we're back to go from eighth notes to eighth note triplets. Excuse me, go from quarter notes to quarter note triplets.
So 1, 2.
Now look, I don't want this stuff. Go. I don't want this. I just want this. See? It's the same speed in both directions. Just come down faster with a squeeze. Turn it higher. Okay, now quarter note triplets, counting. Quarter note triplets.
But 3 but 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and
Don't go banging higher. It's the same turn. Okay. Now eighth notes. The turn is the same. It's just a little faster. Nice and relaxed in the hand. Don't turn and slam down, up to come down, still that. Okay, eighth note triplets, eighth note triplets. Nice and relaxed, nothing should really change, not very much. It will, but keep it simple. 2, 1 and a 2 and now 16th notes. Don't slam together. Same turn. Don't get tighter. If anything, you're more open. Okay, groups of 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Nice and loose. Maybe looser or slow. Get tight.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3.
Now 6. Get tighter. No, you're getting tighter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, clutch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look. If anything, I'm more open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's 8. Now look, I think I'm even more open. Lost count. What is it? 99 or something, whatever I'm playing there. You get nice and loose. You're nice and open. You don't get tighter. Your right hand is louder to help you keep time. Keep them the same. You're like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. I'm exactly. It's like this. What about this side? 1, 2, 3, 4. What about that side? Today we should be able to bring out either side. Not rely on one hand keeping the time. Nice and loose. Nice and loose. Your right, your left. Nice and loose. Now do this over the surface. Do that. Okay. Do this. So you're playing 6. You feel the stick moving your hand a little bit?
Yeah.
But it's better, isn't it? Oh, can you keep them even? Your right's kind of freaking out. You can't come down harder than you go up. You see, to get that nice, almost like a rubber pencil thing. Is that the rubber pencil thing? A little, maybe. See? There you go. Now just put that on the surface. You don't have to be tight. You don't have to change that at all. No, just put it on the surface.
Yeah, just give me 1 sec, Evan. Sorry.
Joe, you forgot to plug in your computer.
I know.
Joe. You need a stick it, something to remind yourself. Okay, so I'll continue on here. Right.
Sorry about that.
So you see, you don't get tighter to go faster.
Yeah.
If anything, and I don't play that way. Okay, I play this way. Look what's here. Yeah. Now I'm rotating, but I'm not doing a finger thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we were at 6. Metronome back on. Let's keep this going. I've got a gig to get to, and I don't even know whether I have a pianist. So Okay, it's always something. Okay, so that's what I had you do. I had 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stay with me just a second. Just stay with me. And then I had you take sticks off the surface. Air drumming. Back on. See? 7. Stay with me. Tighter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go get tighter. Go get tighter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not very fast. 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, sticks off the surface. Sticks off the surface. Sticks off the surface. Keep your one eye on the conductor. I want you to go playing to sticks off the surface. Keep your eye on me. Back to playing. Off the surface. Yes, you don't have to get tight to do that. Do you have to be tight to do that? Pretty good. Okay, now back on the surface, but play 8. Now we're up to 8. 30-second notes. Wow, you could go much faster than that, couldn't you? And still stay loose. Off the surface. How fast can you turn? How fast can you turn? How fast can you turn off? How fast can you turn off the surface?
Oh, I don't know. I can.
I'm asking. We don't know, but I have a feeling. Yeah, you see, that's not what you were doing before. Pulling on every note or clutching or who knows what. Okay, much better. We're going because you have a very well-tuned metabolism. So I know that you've got speed. You start to get this stuff, and you're going to be wicked fast, as they say in Toronto. Okay, so I want to do. Yeah. You don't have. You're not tight to do that. You could. You can clutch it. Go ahead and clutch it and do it. Go ahead. You can turn your wrist like that. It's different though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is different.
Now watch. Here's, and there are techniques that play this way, or that maybe teach you a wrist turn this way. But watch. Here I am, letting it breathe, not clutching, thinking of a 3-finger grip.
That's
I'm
right.
putting it in my hand. See how much cooler that is?
Yeah.
And Dick would say, doing this as opposed to clutching it is more musical.
Uh-huh.
You're not clutching and crushing the tone of your instrument. Okay.
Exactly.
That's cool. Okay, now you've got another insight. Okay, let's take a quick look at stick control. I want to keep you going in that, okay? Oh boy. Okay, so go on page 6.
Okay. Should I go to quarter note equals 72 or half note equals 72?
That's a good question. Yeah, I have Murray's markings and Dick's markings. Let's put it at 72.
Because you said that Richard Wilson's, he would work from 72 to 80, and then Murray would work with 80 to 84.
Well, depending on what page you're on, but if you're talking about page 5, that's good. You remember that. That's exactly it. Okay, so
we're on page 6, right?
Page 6, exercise number 25. Let me. Oh, and by the way, Dick Wilson has marked an accent on the. We're in cut time. Looking at 8th notes. On the second group of 8th notes, there's in the first bar.
Yes.
There's an accent on the right, and then on the last right.
Oh, so there's two of those little accents. Oh,
Right.
that's
And
interesting. That's
Then
interesting.
he added those accents on the second bar, the last group of 4/8 notes. You have an accent on the first and on the fourth.
Oh, that is interesting.
So see if you can play that. How will you play that now?
That's interesting.
Uh-oh. I think I lost you. I think this concludes the lesson for today. Joe, when you watch this back later, it was a pleasure. You're really coming along nicely. For those of you out there, as part of the listening and viewing audience, I was